good in the history
Good morning,
work. So, you know,
Facebook.
so many
It's
programs.
Sarah Scott and Todd Watley. Todd, say hi.
Hey.
Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Senior Services NWA radio program. We are going to be live until 10 o'clock on every other Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy the show. Don't forget to type in your questions and comments in the section
Had a girl on.
right down here.
I had a girl on
Or
yesterday.
maybe it's on
with
this
Elder
side of your screen.
Senior Services. It was on
Anyway,
the real estate program talking about.
Let's have a good show.
I'll give you her name.
Like and share, and please tell your friends about our show.
Wills Probate Senior Services is a woman that moved up here from Dallas. I'll slip you her name. When she said Elder Law Service, of course I thought, Todd,
What show was she on?
the real estate show we have on Tuesday, and it was about if you, it tied in with property, if you die and your property is for
We need to
sale,
get
they
the show started.
yeah. All right, I'll slip you that name.
Okay. Yeah.
What? Todd might know who this is, and he
I might
may not.
too.
May need to know about competition. I don't know.
Good morning. This is the Senior Services NWA show, and I am Todd Watley, and as always, I am here with my beautiful co-host Sarah Scott.
Good morning, Todd Watley. How are you on this beautiful, almost spring day?
It is definitely nice.
I am digging that
You were
sunshine.
telling me yesterday about how nice it was out there, and I
Yes.
was stuck in my office all day. So
I'm telling you, I took advantage of the beautiful weather, and just so happy. I really hope that we're done with all that snow stuff.
who knows?
I don't know.
It seems like almost always around April or around Easter, there's another cold snap. And
Yeah.
there's been a lot of times we've had snow on Easter.
I'd be alright if we didn't have it, but you know what? We made it through a really big mess of snow, so whatever comes our way, I'm sure we can handle it. And
Because
we're tough, and we are blessed, and we are so happy to be here today with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Todd and I will be in the wonderful studio at Kerm and Rogers until 10 o'clock this morning. So, if you have questions or comments or would like to share a story or even a good joke, it's been a minute since we've heard a good joke from a listener or me, so I'm prepared today. And just pick up the phone and give us a call. The local number is 479-636-7979. Anyone outside of Northwest Arkansas can dial 1-800-767-7979. And we are also streaming live on our Facebook page. So if you have Facebook, type in the search bar Senior Services NWA, pull up the live stream of today's show, and you can also type in questions and comments in the section right below the video. And we'll also have Trisha behind the scenes who plugs in various links and different resources, phone numbers, whatever it is you need to get the information in more detail from the source in the comment section in our Facebook. And I see we have 6 already this morning. Good morning, Mom, and Don, Scott, and Steve. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We really hope you enjoy today's show.
So today, we kind of get on this periodically, and then we don't really just spend time on it. And so I think, as we talked about last week, Sarah and I have started a podcast.
Podcasting.
And if you're not familiar with podcasting, it's audio information, and there are podcasts on just about everything. And so our podcast is kind of an extension of the radio show, where we talk about all things senior, and the title of it is Answers on Aging.
Yes.
And you can go to our website, which is now fully up and going and doing great. It's answersonagingpodcast.com, and you can go there and listen to our podcast. And if you iPhone. You can listen on Apple Podcasts. Just pull your screen down and in the search bar, put podcast, and this little pink, purple something will
It
pop
looks like
up.
a little purple mic.
Yeah, it's a little purple mic, and you click on it and put Answers on Aging, and you can listen to us. And so we just did a podcast on ways to pay for long-term care. I
Yeah.
don't think it's up yet. We stagger them once a week. I think this week though, or sometime soon, I think we're going to do a bonus because we've got quite a few backed up, and I
Right.
want to get some out there. And we hope to do an interview tomorrow with a really
Yeah.
super guy, and we're hoping to probably put that up before next Wednesday. But anyway, excuse me, one of our podcast topics that is of great importance to people is how to pay for long-term care.
Yeah, because it is so expensive, and there are so many different options out there. Some are paid for by Medicare, some are Medicaid, some don't take either. And so today what we want to do is educate our listeners on not only what the different options are for long-term care services, ranging from in-home care or adult day services to the actual nursing home or hospice house, and let you know how these services are paid for. And what's interesting, and one of the things that you'll hear if you go back to our podcast for this specific topic, you'll learn a little bit about VA aid and attendance benefits that can really help kind of come in and be a game changer
Absolutely.
and help allow you to afford some of these services. And so that's one of the things that you'll learn about today. And then you're also going to learn about ways to get these services, or maybe even how to get Medicaid without going broke, which is Todd's specialty. And so stay tuned. We hope you learn a lot and that you're able to share this information with people who need it the most. That's what we're here for.
Yep.
That's our goal, is to educate you and to help make your life as an aging individual or as a caregiver of an aging loved one be as smooth and just best quality possible.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of kind of
Yes.
quality hindering things that happen along the way of aging that you can't really help. But these things you can help, right?
So let's start out. If our listeners are not familiar with this, just kind of to open their eyes to the issue, let's talk about what each level of care costs.
Yes, yes.
So let's start home care.
So home care is not home health.
Right.
Home care is a private pay or Medicaid service that is non-medical and is more centered around personal care and light assistance within your own private home or within like an independent living or retirement setting. We have a call?
Yes.
Okay. I will put a pin in it for just a second, and we're going to take this call. We're going to get all tangled up.
And we're
Here, I'll take
tangled
these.
there
You
this
take
morning.
those.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Hey, caller, thanks for calling. What can we do for you? Okay. Hey, give me a shot.
Oh,
Okay. Oh no.
oh goodness.
Goodness. Okay. Absolutely.
I
Yes.
would, Bert, yes.
They live where? Oklahoma. Okay.
Tulsa area.
Okay.
Yep.
One of the resources that I highly recommend that you look into, because it is a nationwide organization, is the Parkinson's Foundation. They will have basically a locator within their website that can let you plug in what the location is and then pull up various resources that can be of support. And one of those things is going to be either respite care grants or certain types of grants that help cover expenses related to either caregiving or medications or even sometimes equipment within the home or changes that you have to make within the home to accommodate that loved one. And so that is one website, and let me pull that up. And then I would also encourage you to go to the Area Agency on Aging website. And if you could hang tight just a second, I will pull up those websites.
Yeah, and I'm actually partners in a law firm in Tulsa that does elder law. And so I would suggest have him gather up all of his financial documents and let's do a phone call, just a initial phone call that will look at his assets, look at where they are, and then we can direct him to whether Medicaid is going to pay. Do you know, is he a veteran? Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. So that number there is 918-901-7777. And if he'll just call, Sarah will answer the phone there, set up a phone call with us, and we will kind of walk him through that, and we can direct him to say, yeah, you are Medicaid qualified as you are right now, or we can do this or that or whatever to help get him. And Oklahoma does have some home care, some assisted living, but it's primarily nursing home care. So, but if he needs that much care and can do it, he's going to need that. But what Sarah's giving you also is the Parkinson's Foundation will possibly help with some grants and different things to help keep her at home as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And are you ready for that website? Sure. Okay, it's Parkinson without the S at the end. So PARKINSON.org. Parkinson.org. And then the other website, and I looked up Area Agency on Aging for Oklahoma. That website is Area, AREAWIDEAGING, areawideaging.org. Got it?
And then
You got it.
And then our office phone number one more time is 918-901-7777. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, good luck with that. Thanks for calling. Cool.
Oh, good.
You're welcome.
Good. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep. All right, thanks, man. You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Okay, bye.
In case you couldn't hear the call on Facebook, it was a gentleman who has family in Oklahoma. The sister has Parkinson's, is really debilitated at this point, and they are needing assistance with paying for care. So that's we did not set that call up, I swear.
We did not set that up.
But that's great. That's great. We've already been able to help somebody.
Yep.
Yay.
So home care is
Home care
non-medical.
is non-medical. It is It can be 4 hours a visit, or it could be 24/7.
Mhm.
You can use it one day, or like I said, every day.
How much is it?
And it is anywhere from like 20 to 26 bucks an hour.
Yeah.
Pretty expensive,
Mhm.
and can add up really quickly if you're paying for 24/7 care, or if you don't have special respite care grants, or Medicaid will pay for in-home care. But here's the thing about Medicaid paying for in-home care. When you're in the Medicaid application process for in-home care services, they come out and do an assessment. A nurse comes out, does her assessment, and they determine how much care you need. Something that is incredibly important, and if you don't hear anything on today's show but this, listen up. If you don't depict a very accurate picture of what your condition is or what your loved one's condition is, it is not helping a single soul, because that person is not going to be approved for the amount of care hours that they truly need, and the chances of something going south pretty quickly are a lot higher, because you think that mom or dad is being taken care of because now they've got these in-home care agencies coming in. But what you don't see is what happens when they leave the house and your aging loved one is left alone and they fall, or something just really goes wrong. And so we recommend that if it's your aging loved one who is going to get assessed by Medicaid for these benefits, that you are present and that you make sure that the information that they get truly reflects their current condition. Cannot stress that enough.
What's happened is I've had clients, particularly male clients,
Uh-huh.
and sometimes females, because females don't want other people in their house, but particularly males, they don't like to admit that they need help, and so the family's like, oh, Dad can meet with the nurse, and the nurse goes out, and Dad's like, I don't need help with this, I can do that myself. And the nurse is like, well, okay, you don't get any services, and
Right.
and the family's upset, and I'm upset because we've done all this work to try to get the nurse out there, and then Dad's not honest with the nurse, and so just be honest with them and let them see that we need this much help.
Yeah.
Okay, so if someone doesn't want to live at home anymore, then the first level is independent living or a aging retirement community.
Yes. And so with the aging retirement communities, excuse me, let's talk about that first, because oftentimes, especially in this region, we have senior low-income housing apartment complexes or duplexes, and these options are, a lot of times your rent is based on your income.
Right.
And so they have a certain formula that will take into account your monthly income, and then that will determine what your monthly rent is. So then there are also, aside from the low-income senior complexes, there are just plain retirement communities. We've got one right here down the street off of New Hope that is completely private pay. But if you have VA aid and attendance, sometimes you can utilize those benefits to help pay toward your rent. But those communities will most of the time have a built-in like maintenance program, so that you're not having to mow the yard, you're not having to do any of the house upkeep maintenance work that often is what's motivating you to get out of your big 4,000 square foot house. And it's also safer because you're not climbing on ladders, you're not trying to clear the snow off of the sidewalk. And so these types of communities are often, like I said, private pay, and range anywhere from like I think $2,800 or $2,900 a month to maybe close to $4,000. I mean, it really depends on the
Retirement
amenities.
communities?
Yeah, and the size of the homes.
Okay.
For like a married couple.
Okay. I thought it was cheaper than that.
But I'm thinking about the ones down the street.
Oh, really?
But
Okay.
they're really kind of ritzy.
They are.
They're pretty
I mean,
fancy.
I think you can find some particularly.
Cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, I think the under 1,000 probably for a apartment that's just for seniors. But then like those do not have common dining areas. They do not have coordinated activities. It's simply a place to live that is restricted to older people.
Right.
Then you can get into your independent living communities, and that's where it's like one big building, and you have a apartment in that building, and it's like Concordia. Okay, Concordia. Part of their place is independent living, and you are completely independent, but you can walk down to the dining room and have dinner with everyone. It includes a meal and activities and different things like that.
Yeah, and those are all optional. And in both of these types of settings, you can still keep your own vehicle. You're still expected to be able to live independently without anyone physically assisting you.
Right.
With the independent communities, I will say, oftentimes, they will be part of a higher level of care, like an assisted living. So a lot of times we'll see independent assisted living communities all within the same campus or on the same lot, so to speak. And those are paid for privately. Long-term care insurance can cover at least a portion of it. It just really depends on your policy.
Yeah.
And then
Typically
private pay.
Right. Typically private. So
Mainly private pay.
right. An example of that here locally is Apple Blossom, right across from Ashley, where you used to work. So it's a big building, and everybody there is independent living, and it is private pay, and I think it runs $1,200 to $2,500, $3,000 a month, depending on the size of the room that you get.
Right, and you'll also typically see, like, if it's not just a little kitchenette, it's just a kitchen on a smaller scale. So you can still prepare your own meals, but there's an option for you to not have to. And then you'll also see within that building a contracted care provider that's an in-home care agency that if you do just need a little bit of help, somebody's there that you can basically add on their services kind of a la carte style and get that little bit of help if you need it.
A great example of that is the Meadows, where they are licensed both for independent living and assisted living. So you can go there completely independent. Your fee's going to be lower, but then if something does happen, whereas in a truly independent living facility, you're going to have to leave and go somewhere else. Like at the Meadows, they have nurses, they have the staff and the accreditation to actually keep you there and start providing care. So,
Right.
So we go from independent retirement communities, independent living, to assisted living,
Yes.
and there are 3 levels of that. And that's where you don't need a whole lot of help. I mean, you can still do things, but they assist you, hence the name.
Yes.
And that's going to range anywhere from probably $2,500 up to $6,000, $6,500 a month, depending on the place.
Depending on the place, and in assisted living communities, they have nursing staff that will either help manage your medications or, depending on the level, even administer your medications. Kind of the rule of thumb that I like to follow, just in my head to keep it straight, is when I'm meeting with a family and asking about the level of assistance that their loved one requires, if their loved one requires more than one person to physically assist them with their activities of daily living or their ADLs, then chances are they're probably, if they can meet the criteria to get into an assisted living, they probably won't be at that level for long.
Yeah.
And we always want to try to minimize the number of moves to help that continuity, to help establish routines, and really keep your loved one's world from just being all shaken up, so that you can maintain whatever level of functioning they're at for as long as possible. So, if they're kind of on the edge, I would almost lean toward the higher level of care so that you're erring on the side of caution. And here's the thing, if they continue to stay at that level for a while and the nursing home says, you know, maybe they need a lower level of care, then you can cross that bridge when you get there.
But that's rare.
It's very rare.
That's also
It is
rare.
very rare.
So there are specialty units of assisted living where they either have a unit that is specifically for people with dementia, and we are blessed here in Northwest Arkansas to have, I know of at least one, no, two, that I know of that are completely dedicated to dementia.
Yes, those are Grandbrook Memory Care and Magnolia Place. And they're both certified dementia communities or
Went down.
facilities.
Fayetteville, next to Sam's.
It used to be Morningside.
Yeah, it's changed.
Spring,
Okay, no, that's,
Spring
Oh,
Hills
yeah.
or something like that. Okay.
Anyway, so there's three.
Yeah.
But yes, they are dedicated to dementia, and what's interesting, and Sarah can go into this in much more detail, but they are specifically dedicated to dementia, which means that their staff is also specifically trained in dementia.
yes.
And one thing that I had forgotten, but when Sarah brought this up on our podcast, was that every worker in the building has dementia training,
Yes.
including the maintenance guys, the food service people. Everybody knows how to deal with that very unique personality or the dysfunction of dementia, because you don't want some guy coming in to fix the air conditioner and not knowing how to talk, particularly if the person, you know, says, "Oh, it's my son," you know, "Oh, how are you doing?" And, you know, they're trained to just go with it.
Yeah.
And so, not say, "You crazy old bat, I'm not your son." So, you know, they are specifically, everyone who works in that building has gone through dementia training, and
Yeah.
I think that's very interesting.
It is. Well, that is definitely something that sets them apart from the other types of long-term care communities and has allowed them to get that distinct license for a memory care unit or a certified dementia unit, because that is so important to a successful life in a community like this. And you're right, Todd, when you're working with people that have different types of cognitive impairments, mainly dementia, it is an art to learn how to communicate with them and how to validate their reality, and it takes effort, it takes special training, and so that's what sets them apart from all the different types of long-term care facilities. And what I will say to nursing homes and assisted livings who don't have the special unit certification is that you are required to train all of your staff. It's like 90% of your staff on an annual basis on certain topics that the state sets forth. And so you have to, for nursing homes, you have 12 hours every year that 90% of your staff, regardless of the department, have to be trained on. Within those topics are everything from fault prevention to fire drills. One of the things that I am glad that they have put in there is communication with dementia residents. And there's also normal aging versus abnormal aging. So those two pieces of education are still provided to the other types of facility staff, but within those certified units, they have to get it right out the gate. So it doesn't matter what department, you're going to get this extra training so that you are well equipped with the skills and the knowledge and how to communicate and work with residents that have dementia.
Why 90?
90% of your staff?
Yeah.
Probably due to turnover reasons, I would
Okay.
guess.
I mean, I'm sure their attempt is to get 100.
Oh, yeah.
But you don't get dinged
Right,
if it's
right. Well, and you've got
overnight.
staff, or you've got shift changes and everything, and so
Okay. Yes.
But yeah,
Okay.
that's the bare bone minimum. But to pay for dementia care or memory care units, private pay, long-term care insurance.
Yeah.
Medicare does not pay for this because
Right.
this is a long-term stay. They don't have rehab or skilled nursing. However, home health services can come into those settings.
So then our not final, but the next level up is nursing home care.
Right.
That's when you need more than 2 people to care for you, or your medical condition is just so critical that assisted living cannot handle that. Then you go into a full-fledged nursing home, and then finally, and the cost of those in Northwest Arkansas are probably, you can find one for $5,500. I doubt it. It's probably closer to $6,000, and most of them are, $6,000, $7,000 plus. I mean, $7,200, $7,300 per month.
I did want to just jump back to the memory care in Fayetteville. It's called Avenir.
Avenir, that's right.
Yes, Avenir Memory Care in Fayetteville.
It's right by the Sam's Club in
Greenbrook Memory Care in Rogers, and then Magnolia Place Memory Care in Rogers.
And then finally, we have hospice. And hospice is generally paid for by Medicare, so therefore that doesn't cost you much if your Medicare supplement and private insurance will pay for hospice. Okay, so that's the levels of care. Now let's go back through and talk about what can pay for each of those.
What can pay for each of those?
Right.
Okay.
So your big payer sources are your checkbook, okay?
Right.
You can just pay for it. Another is long-term care insurance. And long-term care insurance generally will pay for some level of help. So be it home care, if you are getting help at home, assisted living, and nursing home. You can, and for assisted living and nursing home, it will basically pay for your entire stay there, which is room and board and food and all of that. Whereas at home, they're just going to pay for the extra care.
Right.
So it's surprising, but you will sometimes save money by moving out of your house and into a place where it costs much more, but Medicaid and your long-term care insurance will pay for those, where they won't pay for your room and board and food and things like that at home.
And well, you're still talking about hospice?
No.
So hospice in a nursing home will be covered by Medicare, but you might already be in a nursing home under Medicaid, which will continue to pay for your bed and your stay.
True.
But just like being at home, that Medicare will cover those extra services under hospice.
Yeah. But yes. So long-term care insurance pays for assistance.
Yeah.
Okay? You have to apply for it. You have to get through your number of days that your contract says you've got to pay privately, which is typically about 90 days, which is important because yes, but also if you're on Medicare, you can get up to almost 100 days paid for by Medicare, either at home or in a nursing home. And so that's why a lot of policies, and I don't recommend that you buy one that has like 0 days because it's expensive. Get the 90-day plan because Medicare is going to pay at least a portion of that almost always, and you can count those days towards your long-term care deductible. Okay, long-term care insurance is a per-day benefit. It will pay up to that amount per day for care, and it typically has a length of time. So when you buy like a 5-year policy, it doesn't mean that they will just write a check for the next 5 years. You do math and say, okay, 5 years times the daily rate is this number of dollars. So if you're at home, say that you have a $5,000 a month long-term care policy, you're at home, but you're only using $2,500 of that.
Right.
Well, that'll last twice the length of time because you're not using the maximum amount per day. Some people think, well, I've got a 5-year policy. Once I activate it, 5 years from now, it will stop paying. That is only true if you are maxing out your daily benefit for those 5 years. Okay, so long-term care insurance, I highly recommend it. I've seen very few cases of long-term care insurance when we are getting people into nursing homes. I mean, it's well under 5% of our cases. So it's just one of those insurances that never has kicked in very well. And I actually recommended a guy this week. He was paying $122 a month, and he's instantly qualified for Medicaid. He or his wife, they're broke.
Yeah.
But he's paying $122 a month for long-term care insurance that he really doesn't need. And so my recommendation to him, now the information on this show is for educational purposes only and not specific legal advice. I am not telling you to drop your long-term care insurance policy. I did tell this guy because he only had $30,000 in the bank to his name, and he or his wife would qualify for Medicaid very quickly, and even if both of them went in, they would spend very little money to get qualified. So therefore, and that $122 a month was not good for his budget, and therefore I said, you don't need it. Just drop it. So get professional advice from someone who is not selling your policy or making money off of you keeping your policy to say, do I really need this? All right. The other thing is Medicaid, and we've talked about Medicaid, and if there's one thing I can get out there is please understand you don't have to be broke to qualify for Medicaid. What? If you're single, we can protect about half of your assets at least and still get you on Medicaid. And when I say protect, I don't mean that you get to keep them, because you truly do have to be broke to qualify for Medicaid. But we can get that money to the people that you want it to go to and protect it.
But that does not mean gifting your money while you're still alive. Please just,
Still healthy.
Yeah. But, don't think that just from what Todd said, that means, oh, well, I can just go write checks to my loved ones and be good, because there are some really real hoops that you got to jump through to do it the right way.
Timing is a huge issue,
Yes.
particularly if you're married, because timing is crucial, because we look at your assets, what is known as a snapshot date, on the date that you go into a nursing home and are there 30 days. If you start giving away all of your money before the snapshot, that's going to devastate your case. But if you, after a snapshot, yes, we can do some things, and typically with a married couple, we don't do gifting. We just arrange the assets so that the spouse not in the nursing home gets to keep everything, and the other spouse is broke and they go on Medicaid. And it's just funny because that advice goes against everything that you hear at the beauty shop and at church. So, people come to me and they'll argue. Well, Martha at the beauty shop told me. And I was like, I know what Martha told you, but believe it or not, I know this better than Martha. And
no offense, Martha.
No offense, Martha or Janie or whoever's at the beauty shop or church. Okay, I love church, but it's not the place you should be getting your Medicaid legal advice. So, please understand, for a married person, I can protect almost everything if you're under about $700,000.
Great. Hey, listen, it's already halfway through the show. Can you believe that? Man, thank you so much. I know. Thank you so much for tuning in. You are listening to the Senior Services NWA radio program. I'm Sarah. This guy over here, his name's Todd. We want to hear from you. This guy over here. Give us a call, ask questions, let us help you. Share a story with us from something you've learned before. The best way to do so is by calling 800-767-7979 or 1-800-767-7979 for any of you non-locals. And then we're also streaming live on Facebook under Senior Services NWA. Thank you for tuning in that way. Type in your questions and comments in the section below.
Hey, since we're talking about money, okay,
Yeah.
how is the most economical and environmentally friendly way to get around town?
Hey, a nice free ride is always available
Way
to
go,
the people in Northwest Arkansas through Ozark Regional Transit, who is our sole public transportation provider for this entire Northwest Arkansas region, who just happen to be new sponsors of the show.
Yeah, I was parked at. I was headed to the office this morning, and I was parked at the intersection of 28th and Walton. And for some reason, that intersection, which I think is the only one that I know of, has the chirping thing, so that blind people
Oh yeah,
can know
yeah.
where to walk and
Mhm.
when to cross. You know, you see that in big cities all the time.
There's
And-
a couple more.
okay, and you see
Not
people
many.
walking
Yeah.
a lot in
Mhm.
bigger cities. You know, we're so spread out that walking just doesn't work. You know, I mean, you could, but you better be in pretty good shape. However, you can hop on a bus, and
Yeah.
there are bus stops just everywhere, and it's a short walk to a bus stop. And this year, with COVID and grants and all kinds of things, it is free.
Yeah.
Just hop on the bus, and it will take you where you want to go.
It will. And if you would like to find out information about where the nearest bus stop is to you, or what kind of routes they take and at what times during the day, you can call Ozark Regional Transit at 479-756-5901, or you can visit their website, which is ozark.org. That's OZARK.org. And they have super clean buses. Their drivers are very highly trained, very especially trained on keeping their passengers safe, not only while they're in transit, but in general. They've been trained to recognize signs of abuse. They watch their passengers when it may look like something or someone peculiar might be following a passenger, and they are also a designated safe place. So just like our local fire stations and police stations, where if you're running away from a dangerous situation, you can run into the fireplace, or not the fireplace. Don't run into the fireplace. The fire station. And it is a designated safe place, and they will get you help. Please don't run into the fireplace.
I was just going to say, and so if you're a little bit techie, on your phone,
Techie?
like
It almost sounded like you said tacky. Techie.
if you, on your phone, on your smartphone, you probably have Google Maps. And
Mhm.
you can literally, and I use this when I'm traveling, is you can pull up Google Maps. Up at the top, you'll see a little guy walking, you'll see a car, and you'll see a bus.
Yeah.
Click the bus, and Google Maps will tell you from the spot you are standing how to use public transportation to the spot that you want to go to.
Yeah.
It'll say walk 300 feet up here, turn right, and there's a bus stop. Get on this bus, and it will take you here and here, and as you're moving, it knows you're moving, and it will tell you exactly what to do. It's just the coolest thing.
It is. It's really cool. So y'all, please take advantage of these public transportation systems that we have, and they have all kinds of different programs. They're involved in a lot of different community outreach programs to help improve the overall quality of life within our Northwest Arkansas region. So just please take advantage of the services provided through Ozark Regional Transit.
All right, so let me talk about VA real quick. Just a
Yes.
quick, we have 15 minutes in the show. If you want us to answer your questions, you need to call pretty quick because we can't take calls at like 5 till.
Right.
We have some things we need to do, and Tommy kicks us out of here because he has like a 10 o'clock CBS something, I don't know.
And then
So-
the Colonel has a show.
And then, yeah, they're coming. so we can't stay here forever. So VA,
That's good. Yeah.
the VA has a benefit for veterans and for widows or widowers of veterans who served during a time of war.
Yes.
And that's basically your biggest requirement. If you were discharged anything other than dishonorable and you served in the armed forces during a time of war, you did not have to be in the war. But if you served 90 days, all you had to serve is 90 days, and one of those 90 days is during a time of war, and you now have a disability that does not have to be service connected. And that's the biggest hurdle I have to get through is so many of these veterans got out of the service and were told, thank goodness you weren't hurt, you have no injuries, you don't get any of the medical benefits from the VA. Well, this is not a medical benefit, it is a pension benefit. That's a totally different branch of the VA, and it is a check that comes to your bank account once you qualify. And so if you served during a time of war and you were discharged anything other than dishonorable, and you are now spending money for care, we will look at your income and look at your medical expenses, and we can help you figure out if the VA will pay. And so we're talking some fairly significant money for a married veteran. It's about $2,300 per month, tax-free. For a single veteran, it's about $1,800 a month, and for the widow of a veteran, it's about $1,200 a month. I mean, that's significant money that
yeah.
can make a difference. So many times the people who run assisted living places will tell me, they're like, these people come in, husband and wife, they're like, we love this place, it's beautiful. How much is it? Well, it's $4,500 a month. They're like, oh my goodness, we only make $3,000 a month. And we just don't want to spend all of our income plus $1,500 a month to live here. Their first question should be, are you a veteran? Well, if you are, if he is a veteran and being married, and he then qualifies for this benefit, we can get him an extra $2,300 a month. And so now he goes from $3,000 a month to $5,300 a month.
That's crazy.
He's paying $4,500 a month for room, board, food, air conditioning, everything he needs, and basically has $800 left over every month. So he's getting, and once we explain it to them, they're like, we can move in, we don't have to cook, they're going to take care of us, and I have $800 left over.
What?
Yes, you do. Yeah, what? And so they move in. And so these assisted living communities know if someone comes in and their first objection is money, they're like, hey, are you a veteran? And if so, go see Todd. He can walk you through this and possibly get you some money to help pay. And many times you can actually make money by moving in rather than losing money.
That's right. That is such great information. I really hope that somebody out there listening will pick up the phone and give us a call, because we will only have time to take one call for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
And maybe you just learned something and you're like, hey, wait a minute, I might be eligible.
That's not what I've heard.
Yeah. So let us know what you heard or what you've learned, and we can help get you that benefit that you worked hard to get.
Exactly.
You worked hard
Why don't
to
you
get.
try to make us laugh?
Okay, well
Emphasis
first,
on try.
Yeah.
you got sound effects ready?
Yes, I'm ready to laugh.
Somebody to laugh.
Oh my gosh. Well, no, but did you hear though about them landing on Mars?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I think that is so cool that people are like hanging out on Mars
Yeah.
right now.
And those pictures are so clear.
It's amazing.
I know,
Yeah.
it's so cool.
HD.
And then last time astronauts went to the moon, there's
Yeah.
actually a restaurant there now. Did you hear about the restaurant on the moon?
No, haven't heard.
Yeah, it's got great food but no atmosphere.
You didn't even look that up, did you?
Yeah. I
Oh,
did.
you?
I was just trying to think of a good segue into
She
that.
didn't look at
Yeah.
her book. I was
I was
impressed.
just
Set us
trying to
up
get
off
us-
of Mars. Let me
Great-
tell you now.
Great food, but no atmosphere.
Great food, no atmosphere.
I think that would apply on Mars too. All right.
I
Let
bet
me
it
check
would.
this real quick. Yes, question or comment for our program? Yeah, go ahead. Todd's listening here. We'll take a break and Todd. Yeah, Todd.
No, my office is in Bentonville. I am partners in a firm in Tulsa, but yes, I can do Zoom meetings. If you don't want to come into the office, we can definitely do Zoom meetings. I am right off Walton Avenue on 24th Street. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, 24.
Do you know? Yeah, the Tractor Supply Store is on 28th, and you turn right there by the what's the green? What's the bank?
First Security.
First Security Bank. Thank you. I'm losing my mind. Yeah, Todd Whatley, WHATLEYPA, like professional association. ToddWhatleyPA.com is my website. Awesome.
Good.
All right. I look forward to seeing you, and remind me that we talked on the radio, okay? Well, let's talk about it, okay? If you listen to the show much, I am not a huge fan of wills, because wills mean that you are going through probate, and it is not in your best interest to go through probate. So just make an appointment. The initial appointment is free. Let's talk about it. Let's see what you need, and I'll quote you a price, and we can go from there, okay? All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, see you later. All right.
All right.
One more call.
Well, we're going to take one more, yes. Hey, caller, thanks for calling.
Call back, caller. It was there, seriously.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
I saw it flashing.
I
Yeah,
did too.
call back. They'll call
Um,
right back. I'll get them.
You know what Sunday is? This Sunday?
It's March 7th.
That's my birthday.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes. Yes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
Thank
Birthday,
I do
yes.
so.
Happy birthday to you.
That was dreadful.
That was,
Oh
that's the
my.
best I
That
got.
was
How old
so
are you?
sad.
46?
Oh.
I'm gonna throw something
Oh,
at you.
I bumped
I
you up
will-
10
I-
years. I'm
I
sorry.
am 35 right
Oh, gosh,
now.
11
I
years.
will be 36
Todd,
on
protect me.
Sunday. I'm
Me.
gonna kick you under the table.
All right.
But hey, do you know what? Guess what? What do clams do on their birthdays?
Clams, gosh, I wouldn't have any idea.
No idea.
They celebrate.
That's pretty good.
Oh,
That'll work.
goodness.
That's like
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was funny.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm excited though, because me and a couple of my besties from high school are going to have a girls' weekend at Gaston's with no kids and no husbands. And
Oh,
it's
come
just
on,
gonna
bring the
be
kids.
Fun girl time.
The kids.
No,
Okay.
kids have spring
Be
break
a
coming.
fly on that wall.
Doubt it.
It's going to be so much fun.
You guys have a lot of casting fishing, man. You guys have fun fishing.
We don't have anything booked, but we've got a cabin with a deck.
Really?
Yeah, we'll be cooking a lot.
But no
Some
fish.
food and
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Well, that's,
fish.
you know, I was telling you before the show, that's a great place to fish up
Yeah, food and libations.
there. Yeah.
So if you are listening, thank you so much for tuning in. Todd and I are here live every Wednesday from 9 to 10. And we also have, as he mentioned earlier, a new podcast out on the Apple Podcast app called Answers on Aging. And man, it has been so much fun so far. We got some headshots done over the
those
weekend.
will go in the next day or so.
Yeah.
A
soon.
headshot, I'm sorry.
Like pics.
Pictures.
Pics
Oh,
for the website.
I got it, yeah.
Not
so,
military headshot.
Okay.
no.
Okay. So pictures.
Pictures, yeah.
Well, there you go.
And,
yeah.
Right now, the
but-
pictures on the
are
the
not
west
us.
side are not us.
They're not us. But we're really excited about hopefully reaching a larger audience beyond Northwest Arkansas and educating more people about all of the answers on aging, from when is it time to step in and help care for my loved one, to why should I tell someone about my finances, who do I need to tell, to what is normal aging. I mean, we answer so many questions, and a lot of those show topics are motivated from this show right here.
Well, and what we do all day, every day,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
working with folks, and so yeah, we are excited about it. It's I think it's good general information. Some pretty significant people who know what they're talking about have listened to it and said, this is really good. And I don't think they would lie to us. I think they
No.
were like, oh, that's
No.
nice. No,
Yeah.
they were like, this is really good,
Uh-huh.
because somehow we just have this chemistry between us that we don't talk over each other. We just kind of feed off each other, and it seems to work. And I was just telling Sarah, one that will come up before long is normal aging, and we talk about all kinds of stuff, including sex.
Yeah. Well, sex is a part of life,
I
and
know.
there are normal changes that come with it. And it's so funny because Todd is so modest and basically has me take over that section.
Oh, absolutely.
Pun intended, section.
Oh.
Sarah. So anyway, I just think the rest of it was good. She did handle
Yeah.
that
That was
one,
good too.
but yes.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Well, no,
It's good to know.
I was
Yeah.
talking about our chemistry back and forth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that I'll let you handle that one, and then I came in when we started talking about other stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, I like it. We enjoy doing it.
Uh-huh.
I think it comes across well, and so we encourage you to join us.
Uh-huh.
AnswersOnAgingPodcast.com is the website, and we've got all of the podcasts there. But if you have an Apple phone, you can do Apple Podcasts,
Yeah.
search Answers on Aging, and
It's right
just
there.
listen to it on your phone.
It is. And please don't forget, on our Facebook page, even if you couldn't catch all of today's show, you can go to Facebook under Senior Services NWA, and we continue to monitor those questions and comments on a daily basis, basically. And so get your questions and comments in that way if you weren't able to call in today, or save it till next week, because we'll be here.
If you want to come see me, I see clients mainly in person and some Zooms on Monday, and then primarily phone calls and Zooms on Tuesday.
Mhm.
But I would love to work with you. I would be honored to work with you and your family. My phone number is 479-601-4119.
Yeah, and I'm also doing a new business adventure as well. So if you or your aging loved one need help with locating care, learning about care options, or being paired up with as like a geriatric provider or even a long-term care community, I will help you get that done and then hold your hand the entire way. So you can get more information about that by calling 479-790-1275.
All right there, Todd. Just a quick question. How long does a meeting take, just in general? Whether it's Zoom? Okay, 1 hour. I
Typically
think you
1
said.
hour. I mean, we schedule 1 hour. Sometimes
Okay.
we're over sooner, and sometimes we're like, hey, we got to continue this. But almost always, I've got this natural clock in my head.
Yeah.
I can almost tell you when an hour's up.
Okay.
We can generally do just about everything we need to do in an hour.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see y'all. You're listening to KURM Rogers, Springdale, Benton.